The other day, I saw a video on YouTube, and it was this lady that was talking about she had just got married to this man, and before she stepped out, she was going to go for a walk. And before she stepped out, he had been talking to his friends on a Zoom call or whatever, and she had said her hellos and all of that. I think they were females.
They were females, all females.
Might have been a mix, but I think they were females. Most were females. And so they gave their congrats or whatever, and she said her hellos, and she left. So her husband is still on this call with his friends. She goes out and realizes she forgot something. So she comes back in. He's unaware that she comes back in, but she overhears them talking about her. So these women are asking the guy how the honeymoon was, asking her husband how the honeymoon was, did everything go well? They're asking him, if he had any problems, considering that what the wife learned overhearing that he's not really attracted to her. Okay? So they're asking him questions about that, but he said to her, well, it's not what she looks like on the outside, but what she is on the inside. My wife's beautiful or whatever. But so the women are still pushing him like, well, do you think like you downgraded because she doesn't look like your normal ex? Like, she doesn't look anything like who you normally go out with. And he was like, well, no, she's not as attractive as them, but I don't have any problems with it. And so they continued on. They were prodding and asking him all these little things and asking him how things went on their honeymoon. Did he have any difficulties being with her intimately, especially that she doesn't look the way that he, based on what he's told them in the past. And so they were having a discussion about that. And of course, she was devastated. I assume she probably left. And at the time of the interview, which was 5 or 6 weeks later, he still doesn't know that she overheard that. So she's talking to this person who's giving her advice, and she's basically talking and saying how she feels so unattractive and all these different things, and how she was shocked to hear that, to realize he married her but he was not attracted to her, that there was someone that he discussed her with his friends. Okay, so I want to stop here, and I want to just kind of deal with this 2 parts. Number one, I wanted you to understand, men, that sometimes there are women who say that they're your female friends, but they can still be territorial. I also believe strongly any woman that you have slept with and you have had sexual interactions with, or you have had kissed them before, or you have talked sexually before, or there was an attraction, that person can never ever just be your friend, especially if you cross the line. Sometimes you may have female friends that you don't even know that they may have a little crush on you or like you or whatever, and for whatever reason, they could be married, they could be in their own relationships, whatever, or just fear of bringing out their feelings, and they can be there, and those feelings are dormant, but nevertheless they're still there. And so you have to be very careful, because you have some women, let me address these other groups, they may have never slept with you, but they have the sense of entitlement to you, where they will do this in a very subtle way. You think that it's just conversations, but they feel like they can discuss your partner with you, talk down your partner with you. They'll take little digs at your partner. All right. And you, being a man, probably just not really aware of it. You're just thinking you're answering questions. You need to be in a position to discern and pick up on things like that.
Now, understandably, there will be some men or women that may say, well, how will I know? How can I tell? I don't know if my friend is being vindictive, manipulating, or underhanded. Well, I will say this, just to be on the safe side, if you can't tell the difference, then your wife, husband, or partner should not be up for discussion.
Sometimes you can be talking and they're finding fault and they're saying little things. You have to be able to pick up on that. Because if they say those things, they'll test the waters. So if they're able to take a dig at her and you don't say anything, and they can talk about what she looks like and you don't say anything, then it gives them validation, and now they feel like they can disrespect your wife or your girlfriend. Right? um Another thing too, I'll address women. We have to be careful when it comes to male friends, because I grew up with all boys. I don't have any sisters, so I get along with men easily. I get along with them easy without seeing them in a sexual way. But even then, I still have to be careful because they're not my actual brothers and I'm not their actual sister. I had to be careful because I found that because I was so easy to talk to and so fun, some of them will start to like me. Okay? And so I wouldn't even really know until maybe they say something. You're like, what? You know? And so you have to be careful. When you are a likable person, you can make people laugh. You could talk real easy. Like if I'm around like guys, not the rude ones. I do not hang around rude and obnoxious men, but just guys in general. Like especially when I was in the military, it was so easy. It doesn't feel like anything. It doesn't feel like, oh my gosh, it's guys. Nope. It was easy. And we could talk easily. And like they'll sit there and they tell me anything. Anything. Like we'll be sitting in the cafeteria. Remember this guy, we were so cool. We were like family. He'd be pointing out everybody, yeah, I slept with her, and I slept with her. Oh my God, this one, she's so thirsty, blah, blah, blah. And I'm literally sitting there looking, and we're talking about like some of these people are like doctors and, head nurses. We're sitting there because I worked in a hospital, and you could see them, they're glimpsing over at him and glimpsing over at me like, oh, what are y'all doing together? And of course, once they saw that we were close friends, they used to come to me trying to, talk, figure out what's going on with him. But the thing is, it doesn't happen all the time. I'm not saying that it does, but even then we have to be very, very careful, right? That thin line is not crossed. Especially like with me, I don't think anything about guys. I'm not thinking if they like me or I like them. They're just easy to get along with. And so you may be close and everything, but once they get a girlfriend, you have to back up. If they get married, you can't have that same type of everyday communication that you used to have with them. You have to realize they have a girlfriend or they have a wife now, so the dynamics of the relationship is going to change. And it doesn't mean that he's less of a friend, but you can't be his ace pilot right there with him and wanting to, throw your weight around as his friend. It's not right. You may not get that, but you have to think, would I want somebody else to be this way? Would I want my spouse or my boyfriend to be talking to another woman to this degree? Would I feel right if another woman was asking my husband about our honeymoon? Would I feel okay if another woman is trying to talk to or you as the man, would I feel okay if there's another man asking my wife or asking my wife about our honeymoon night, and if she's as attracted to me as is she still struggling with attractions to me, and if she regrets choosing you would hit the roof. Some of you will hit the roof. It's a very important in all the dynamics of these relationships is to put yourself in that person's shoes and think, would this be acceptable? And if you say yes, that would be acceptable, then you need to do a self-examination, because it may be acceptable to you, but it won't be just because you like it don't mean that other person have to like it. Just because your life is an open book does not mean other people are not entitled to some privacy and boundaries. And so it was very sad to hear this. And some of you gentlemen, you have, I speak again to the men because I believe some men, they just really don't get it. Sometimes is they're so happy or they enjoy their female friends so much and the attention and all the stuff that they may give to them that they really feel like they can put their wives and their girlfriends in the same category as one of the girls. So he's sharing everything with everybody. And that's not going to work. There has to be things that you and your wife, you and your partner must have that's for you too. You can't share the exact same things. You can't be telling them everything. You should not expect that this man should be telling you everything that he's telling his wife, or you should know first. And there's some women and they capitalize on that. They feel like they're at the equal plane with the woman, and they may even go to her and make say, "Oh yeah, he told me that," to take away anything from her where she will feel like she's exclusive. "Oh, he already told me that. Oh, he just told you that? Oh, he told me that last week. I was with him when that happened." See, these are the things that begins to take place that you as a man may not know. And then sometimes as a man, you're just like, well, it is what it is. But truly, perhaps you're not ready for a relationship, a true relationship, because you don't know how to honor your wife. You don't know how to honor this person that you're with. I don't feel at any point, just because someone is just your boyfriend or just your girlfriend, that they're entitled to any less treatment or consideration, because your character is your character, your character is your character. All right. If you're a person that allow your friends to disrespect your wife, or allow your friends to disrespect your husband, male friends to disrespect your husband, boyfriend, male friends to disrespect your wife or your girlfriend, if you do that as a boyfriend, you do that as a girlfriend, you're going to do it as a wife, and you're going to do it as a husband, because your character is going to stay the same. So that's something to look at. If you have somebody right now who kind of throws you under the bus for their male friends or their female friends, okay? If your boyfriend throws, or your husband throws you under the bus for his female friends, and give them the same equal playing field as you. If your girlfriend throws you under the bus for her male friends, your wife does that for her male friends, and they're on the same plane as you, then you have a lot to consider here. Now, to me, if you're just dating a person, that's somebody you want to take into marriage with you, no matter how cute they are, because apparently they're cute to everybody. And sometimes, again, men just may not know. They honestly just don't know. Because men, a lot of times, they don't think all like that. They just like, she just asked me a question, I just answered it. But men, that's not an excuse. What is that sound? That is not an excuse, guys. You have to discern, and you have to be sensitive, and you have to listen to your wife. Listen to your girlfriend if she's telling you something. Now, granted, there are some women that's just jealous. They're just jealous for no reason. They'll be jealous if you're talking to your mother. They're jealous if you're talking to your sister. They're jealous if you're petting the dog. They're jealous if you're feeding your goldfish. This type of woman is not someone you want to have in your life, okay? But sometimes what some men will do and some women will do is they have this practice behavior of allowing their friends to cross boundaries and lines, and when it's addressed, they're going to make you seem as if that you're overly jealous of everything, rather than taking a look at what they're doing. Now, 9 times out of 10, men or women that's been doing this, it's not their first rodeo. You will not be the first man, wife, first husband, boyfriend, that a girlfriend that has said some things to them. Because if they have this whole setup with their male or female friends, this is something they've been doing for a while. They've heard that before, but they are determined that this is a person, these are my friends, that's what it is, accept it or leave it. And you have to be in a position, guys, where you can say, well, I'll leave it. You go ahead and you stay there with your pram group, because I'm not about to do that. This is not a buffet relationship. There has to be something that you and your partner can explore together. There should be things, just like how these friendships and relationships developed over time through getting to know one another and growing together. You're entitled to that as a wife, a husband, girlfriend, or a boyfriend. You begin to develop your own story. You begin to grow together. But if there's someone there tagging along going, me, where y'all going? I want to go. I want to go. I want to go. Well, what did y'all talk about? What did she say? Then that is completely disrespectful, because a lot of times, ironically, what happens is you as the husband is not telling your wife everything that the friends say. You as the husband is not telling your husband, you as the wife is not telling your husband everything that you're discussing with your male friends. So there's some exclusion that's going on. Okay? It's not equal. And when you marry somebody, you're not equal. When you have in a relationship with a person, they're not equal. Yes, it would be nice for everyone to get along and to be nice, but you have to really think about this. Sometimes you have married female friends that's all in your business, and you're a single man dating. You have your married male friends telling you what to do, and you're a single woman dating. Or they're married and they have their own issues, and they're in your marriage telling you what to do. And I always say your friends cannot advise you and they haven't spoken to you and your girlfriend, or you and your wife, or you and your boyfriend, or you and your husband. A friend that's giving you counsel just based on what you're saying to them is a foolish friend. It's foolish counsel. It's not sound counsel. Because how can you know, how can they tell you something and advise you what to do against someone they've never sat down with and don't get time to know or include in everything? So a lot of times what happens is they want to solidify their positions. There are females that want to be territorial, want to solidify their position. They'll be very slick. They will have an insult and cover it with all this fluff of other stuff that you don't get. And you will answer yes, and you will be telling them things. And in their mind, they're going, yep, she ain't all that. And they'll throw that in her face in a very subtle kind of way. And sometimes, depending on the type of man or the type of woman you are, you can give them the license to disrespect your spouse, to disrespect your partner. And now they feel like they have to appeal and appease your friends in order to get your affections, because you're going to override them for your friends. You're going to override their plans because your friends want to do something. And sometimes you have friends that will do that. You have friends, there's no boundaries. You guys could be on vacation together, but the friends are getting pictures of you guys on vacation. They're texting and talking to their friends while you're on your way to go fly somewhere. Let's say you and your wife, or you're about to go on a trip somewhere to Europe, and the whole time your spouse is texting your friend, their friends, their opposite sex friend. Your husband is texting his female friends. Your wife is texting her male friends. They know that you left. They know that you at you at a layover. They know that you're at the hotel. They know that you checked in. They know that you guys did this. They know that you guys did that, and they got a chance to talk to them. They know all these things. You have no boundaries. And it's time to grow up, guys. Sometimes this stuff could be with your siblings, and that's another whole thing, right? But you've got to have those boundaries. Everything is not for everyone. You know, even the Bible talks about in the tabernacle, there was the outer court, there were the middle court, and then there was the holies of holies. And you know what? Everybody could not go in those areas. The outer court served a purpose, and there were people that were assigned and they could be there. But those in the outer courts could not go into the intercourse. They could not go in the inner court. All right, that's the middle part. They're not assigned for that. They were not called for that. That's a whole nother, yes, thank you. You're good at the outer court. You're here, but you cannot come into the inner court. And those in the inner court, they had a duty and things that they had to do. They'd been called and ordained by God to be in this inner court. But then there was a holies of holies, and only a few people could go in there. And anybody who dared to go in there would fall dead in the tabernacle of God. So I want you to understand that you can't have it where your whole relationship and your way of being is like an open market. It says a lot about the character of that man or that woman. It talks about, it's like you're like a city without walls. And the Bible says a person who has no rule over their soul is like a city without walls. Everybody can walk in, right? Oh, let me go here, let me look over here. And you may say, but he's so good and she's so good, they're so nice. You'll say that about this boyfriend, girlfriend, husband, wife. They're so sweet. But I always give this example that the Lord gave me. You imagine the most precious and beautiful things, everything that's sweet about them will be a house that has really costly and beautiful things. All your memories, all this great stuff you guys have, it's in this house. But imagine that the house has it's just a frame. There's no roof. There's no doors. They may have some windows put in, but the windows have no locks on them. So what happened? Rain, birds, random people can come and just do what? Walk in, take what they want, sit where they want, because there's no boundaries. And that's what it's like when you don't keep boundaries in your relationship. Imagine how that woman felt, feeling so happy to be married and realizing that even her marital, their consummation in their marriage was up for conversation. This is not a normal friendship. It's not a normal conversation where you take the hurt and you take the pain and you bring the nakedness of your husband, wife, or partner to someone, and you guys pick apart everything and come to your conclusion, and they advise you on what you should do or should not do. And everybody knows certain things and you don't. While they maintain the absolute confidentiality of their friendships, you don't know anything about what they talk about. That's not a normal friendship. When you will give another man the nakedness of your husband, tell them everything about him, what you don't like, how he got on your nerves, all the stuff. You get upset, you jump in the car, go talk to your friends, text your friends, shut the door, go down to the basement, you're talking to your friend. Only your friend can calm you down so you can deal with your husband, calm you down so you can deal with your partner, calm you down so you can deal with your wife. Only your friend can calm you down so you can talk to your wife or talk to your partner. No, something is wrong with that. Why? What's happening? The reason why you guys cannot come together and talk together and work it out together is because you continually have this person over here that you can go to rather than learning to work things out with your spouse, with your partner, and especially your spouse. Now, those of you're on the receiving end of this, you have somebody that's this way, you have to make your own decisions on what you're gonna do. I always say think long term. A lot of times people think right now and they think they'll deal with it. You think long term. Is this something you're going to be able to deal with? You think you're going to be able to tell his friends to go away and this and that? It's not going to happen. So it's one of those things where you will have to sit down with your spouse and have a serious discussion and see what they say. Sit with your partner, see what they say. And depending on what they say, then you make your decision and you make your choices. A lot of times people can't make tough decisions because they're so afraid. Again, it goes back to you, who you are on the inside and what you think about yourself and how you see your life without this person or what you had to go through, jumping through hoops to have this person. So would you do anything to keep them, even if it is at your expense? Someone who truly loves you is going to hear your story, Listen to what you have to say, hear your side, and make the adjustments accordingly. Friends do not have more priority than a wife. And again, I'm talking about a reasonable wife, not the ones that they're just deranged and jealous. But even then, even if you have a crazy, jealous, and deranged wife or a husband, they're still your husband or your wife. So you have to take the necessary steps, whether you're going to continue with them or what you're going to do, because you still can't put your friends even over your cray-cray wife or cray-cray husband. Because you married them and you put them in that position. So you'd have to do things properly, even if it's not going to work, especially they become a danger, a hazard there. It's just too much, and they begin to just really defile some things in the relationship and the marriage. You still need to do everything in order and do things right, whatever decision that is, and not allow your friends to go in and attack. Because especially those of you who, this channel, I talk about practical things, but I'm also a believer in the Lord. Bringing it back to you who are believers in the Lord, this type of behavior definitely should not be happening among the body of Christ. Now, one thing, if you're unsaved, it's still not right, but you can see how that can happen. But when you are in Christ, you have discernment. You should be led by the Spirit of God and know that it's not right to go and talk about anybody, talk about your spouse to someone who is not your wife. You're talking about your wife to another woman, or talking about your husband to another man, and keeping everything secret. Or, as some of you get bold and rude and crude, you throw it in their face. Oh, well, it is what it is. You make them feel like they're jealous. You make them feel like something's wrong with them. And if that person's not strong enough, they will believe you. And guys, overall, I would definitely tell you that if there's somebody that their friend is so important that they'll risk the marriage and the relationship for them, let them have them. I'm trying to tell you, any friend that a husband or a wife, boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever, fiance is willing to risk for them, they are not just a friend. They're not just a friend. And we have to be very careful, and we have to be very honest, because we have males and females that are have friends of the opposite sex, and oh, he's just like a brother to me. He's not your brother. If you don't share blood, he's not your brother. Oh, she's just like a sister to me. She's not your sister because you don't share DNA. Okay? And 9 times out of 10, if you guys are honest with yourselves, if you look at, you have brothers and sisters, do you talk to your brothers and do you talk to your biological sister and brother in the same way and with the same frequency as you're talking to this person and talking about the same kind of things? No, probably not. And if you have brothers and sisters who is in your business constantly, you guys still need to sit down and have this talk. But most likely, these brother-sister relationship that they throw on these friends of the opposite sex, you will find that they don't even talk to their own brother and sister in that same manner. So it's going to take discernment. It's going to take prayer. Those of you who you are believers in the Lord, pray. See this for what it is. And sometimes you're seeing things to save you from the heartache later on. If you're dating this person, if you're engaged, you see certain things, there's nothing that pops up in a marriage that you did not see beforehand. Now, there may be some things that you didn't know. Okay, that can happen. But a lot of times you would have been seeing something before that in that individual that was ignored. And then when it gets ignored, now pops up this ugly secret, other thing about them that you honestly never seen before. But because you entertained this other thing that they were doing and didn't end it when you should have, now it leaves room for them to breed, and all this other stuff begins to pop up. There is nothing wrong with having male friends. There's nothing wrong with having female friends. But there must be clear boundaries. There's certain things that has to change once this person, even if he has a girlfriend, you must respect that. It's not a competition. If you're being territorial about your friend, you as a woman, you need to check yourself. If you're being territorial as of over your female friends, having a boyfriend or a husband, you need to check yourself. Because me as a sister with my own brothers, I don't feel territorial. I don't feel like I have to show I'm the sister. I already know that. So I don't need to do that. I observe this young lady, whoever she may be. I may be protective of my brother. Let's say something happens that's not right. Of course, I go into protective mode, but I don't start off with that. I don't start off with that. It will have to be something that's valid. And even then, I still have to know I need to let them deal with it, because sometimes if I get too involved and they're like, chill, calm down. And I have to step back and I have to allow them. And if they need me for something, I'm there. But do you notice the order? Do you notice how that boundary still stays there as a sister? Now we do know sometimes things will happen, and if someone does something to hurt your sibling, you're gonna be angry. You want to go in protective mode. Some things it just gets out of control, but 9 times out of 10, the brother and the sister, they're gonna protect where they need to, but it's not just something that'll start off with being all weird and want to know everything that's going on between you and that person. We don't do that as siblings. Oh, where y'all going now? What y'all doing now? No, we don't. So when you're doing that as a friend, female friend, male friend, the reason why you can cross those lines is because you're not blood tied to them. And then there's something else there that's causing you to cross this line. Because even when you're good friends, there is a line that can be crossed based on your closeness. And once you become territorial, when you become possessive, when you become obsessed, when you are inclined to try to show this person that they are not as important and that you have more leverage and you got more time in, it's not property. They're not property. It doesn't matter if you've been here through all the thick and thin. Here's his wife now, and that's who she is. It doesn't matter if you were there through their lowest times. That does not matter. This is her husband now, and you have to deal with that. And truly, you guys can be good friends if there's a respect there. But if you find yourself being a certain way, you have to search your heart and see where that's coming from and separate. A good friend is someone who is not trying to go toe to toe with their partner, but being prepared to step out the picture if needed. Yes, it will hurt. Yes, it is. But that's what a friend is. I'm there for you, and I'm always going to be there for you. I will respect your relationship. You should want to be a friend and get to know their spouse, get to know their partner, be respectful. If their friend is coming to you too much about their husband or their wife, you should have discernment to say, listen, think about yourself. Would I want my man coming and talking to this woman about me? Would I want my husband to do that? Would I want my girl to come to me want my girl to come talking to a dude, another man about me this way? And I'm, she's my husband, she's my wife, she's my girlfriend. Put yourself in someone's shoes, guys, and then you'll be able to really assess yourself and handle these relationships properly. Friendships are wonderful. It's good to have good friends, but always ensure that you're not crossing boundaries. All right, guys, peace.